Hi folks, John with the Wingman 115 channel. Thank you so much for checking in today. I'm out here at Fort Backyard and catching up on some reviews. Now this review got away from me. Time flies by so fast. I did a quick, I want to say sneak peek video review of this blade that I'm going to be showcasing today, probably 4 or 5 months ago. And just summer, boom, the days were going by so fast I just didn't have a chance. Well, today is the day that we're going to be showcasing the DayOne Gear CUMA protector. Now, this is a hawksbill design with a little bit of that karambit overtone. This is made by Tops for DayOne Gear, and we're going to be showcasing it today. But first, as always, let's cut away. We're going to do a quick specs rundown of this. You're going to get to see it up close and personal. You're going to know the ins and outs of this. And then we're going to be doing some hacking and slashing. And then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to give you some final thoughts on this knife. Folks, it's going to be a fun review. Come along, it starts now. For this part of the review, I went out and I purchased a pork roast. It's a bone-in, and it has pretty thick skin on the outer layer. To kind of illustrate somebody's arm or a small leg, I put it in an old sweater, and we're going to do some slashing with this in a couple different maneuvers to kind of give you folks a better idea on the performance of this blade and how this hawksbill is going to work. So, without further ado, let's get her started. Wow, look at that. That's a good at least 1.5 inches right there. So much for my review, but let's pick this up and test it out. Look at this. Just right there, the first slash, and the only reason it wasn't deeper is because it hit bone. So let's take it over to the bench and let's do some more slicing and stabbing with this. So the clothing really didn't hold up that well, but this is a pretty thick skin on this, so let's try it. And that's just with not a full force. Well, we're not having much luck, are we? But I'm not sticking my hand out there to get cut. But look at that. Let's try. Put it on the corner here and see. I'm telling you, that would do some quick work on somebody right there. Let's try it top down with this thick skin. And that's not even at full force. I can only imagine at full force slashing, or if you're doing reverse coming in, like hook cuts, it's really gonna put the hurt on somebody. That hit bone right there. We're just destroying this pork roast. Not bad. Let's try some melon cutting with this. We're going to test the tip capabilities of this blade by stabbing into this 1/4 inch piece of plywood. Now this is going to be tough because this is a hawksbill, but we'll do our best for you here. Basically doing it just to see the tip strength of this blade. There we go. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Let's see if I'm like stabbing at it for a little bit. Well, that gives us a pretty good idea. Tip is just fine. The bottom of the blade has a glass breaker, so we're gonna inflict some blunt force trauma on this coconut to see how that would work. I'll put a nice hole in it. Oh yeah. Let's see how the blade does for blade retention. Now for some final thoughts on the DayOne Gear CUMA protector. Let's start out with the Kydex sheath. Standard taco Kydex sheath, retains the knife in there really well. There's no jiggle at all. Has a spring metal belt clip that rotates 360 degrees. You can wear this behind your back, kind of scout style, or cross draw. It's up to you, personal preference on that. That's enough about the sheath. You want to talk about the knife. Well, like I said earlier, this is a modified karambit hawksbill design. This knife is a self-defense combat blade, just plain and simple. You're not going to buy this blade to go out bushcrafting or to go hunting with. This is definitely just a combat self-defense blade. With that, I think that it meets a lot of those capabilities. This hawksbill slicing through that pork roast, it just devastated that pork roast. That high saber grind on there and just that hook, it just got in there and it took a good 1.5 to 2 inch gash each time. And I know that if the object was immovable, it would take it right to the bone on an arm and a leg, no problem at all, especially with somebody skilled in the art of the blade. The seatbelt cutter in the back, yeah, it worked okay. What I would do is probably take a little Dremel with sandpaper and get in there and just polish that out and sharpen it up. Really nice, good and sharp. Because if you're in a situation where you got to cut a belt, you don't have time to fidget around. You want to be able to get in there and just be able to rip it right out. So some of that might have to do with a little bit of the traction coating on there. But I mean, that's not a deal breaker. Just maybe get some 200 grit or higher, get in there, just buff it out real quick, and you're easy peasy, you're going to be done. When I first saw the scales on this and the handles, I was like, I don't know, my medium-sized hands might have an issue with that. Because when you look at that, but after using this knife for a while now, I've had it for a few months, and I've been playing around with it all day here in the backyard. I've had no problem with hand fatigue, and my first initial thoughts were the jimping on there was going to be overly aggressive, but it's been radiused enough to where it doesn't cut into your fingers or your thumb. So you have a really good grip on this blade and control this blade at all times, especially if you're in a combat situation where your hands are sweaty or they're going to get bloody. You want to be able to hang on to that blade. So that's definitely a positive thing. Got a nice little upsweep on the handle down near the pommel. My hand felt really secure when I was hacking and slashing about, that I didn't feel like the knife was just going to fly off and boomerang out into the great unknown. So that was definitely a check in the plus column. And you have a nice little hammer and a pointed end on the pommel for a glass breaker. So if you're going to put the hurt on something or somebody, this is definitely going to do the job. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Post up if you like the design, what you would do to improve it. Would you leave it alone? What mission capabilities would you use it for? If you want to learn more about this knife, I'll leave a link in the video description below to DayOne Gear. The folks over there are awesome. And look for a giveaway coming up soon on this blade. We're going to be giving away this blade. Look for a video coming on this channel real soon on that. Details to follow. So, as always, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Now I got to go clean up the yard. Take care, folks.